Welcome back to For the Plot podcast, where being lost is just going to be part of the storyline. This week, we're speaking with my friend Tawa, and she is a travel planning queen. From planning solo trips, bachelorette parties, group trips, and her own year-and-a-half sabbatical, keep listening to hear how she built her travel planning business from the ground up while maintaining a full-time job and continuing to travel around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whenever we do that, I'm just like, okay, what do we talk about now? But we can just keep talking. Okay, so what are your go-to things that you bring with you when you travel?
My go-to things is definitely I would say one is always a portable charger. That is crucial. Portable charger, an adapter.
Smart.
Making sure that I can plug. I have a universal adapter, so I can
always
plug in.
forget about that's the one thing I always forget when I go
Important,
somewhere.
And even if I travel somewhere that probably still has a US plug, the same, or if I'm traveling in the US, I still bring it because I like that I could plug multiple things into it.
Yes, that's
it's
smart.
kind of like what are those blocks that you have in your home that you plug a bunch of stuff in?
Oh, extension cord.
Yes, it's like an extension cord, right? Like a little mini extension cord.
yes.
Yeah. So that's usually that portable charger for sure.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, I always have to travel with a lot of my toiletries.
Yeah, that's smart. So you always got to bring your own face wash, your own skincare. My own shampoo. Yeah.
Because the places I go to that they're not gonna carry shampoo for black hair.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So those are my three essentials, the specific toiletries that I know I need to have.
I guess what was one place that you traveled to where you were like, oh, I actually can't get anything that I need here?
Ooh,
have there been any countries?
Cuba.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But Cuba's so close to the U.S., right?
Cuba, it's hard to get things. That's number one, and it's so expensive.
Is it?
It's very expensive.
Okay, I didn't know that.
They import a lot of things, so it's very, very expensive to buy.
Okay.
Even something like spaghetti,
Okay, good to know. We're going to clock that for when we go to Cuba.
Yeah.
Remember that, because I'm not going to remember that. You remember that. Okay, sick. Well, super stoked to have you on.
Thanks.
It is crazy to think that we had only recently met.
This year.
This year.
I guess technically last year.
Technically last year, but I feel like we didn't really get to
know each
chat
other
that much and get to know each other. But this year we were in Africa together, which is the most random place
my favorite place, South
ever.
Africa, Cape Town.
Yeah, that was so much fun. So for people tuning in, Tawa basically planned an entire trip to Namibia.
Yes.
For us and 10 people.
We were eight
people total. But the craziest 8 people you could bring together. The most random 8 people.
All of you.
I didn't know anyone there other than you, Amanda, and Ash and Chris. But it was one of the most epic trips. It will go down as one of the most epic trips in my memory.
I'm glad.
Because it was just also the most spontaneous random thing
I
I'd ever done.
I don't think you had on your bingo cards that year that you were going to go to South Africa, Namibia.
No,
probably, right?
No, because I fully was like, oh, I got to do work stuff and things like that. Then I ended up going, which was so sick. So really excited to have you on and honestly just get to know you better as well.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're gonna start off with some of the basics.
Okay.
And I think I already know the answer to some of these questions I'm about to ask you, but for the people that are tuning in, I think it'd be good for them to get a little bit of the lay of the land of who you are.
Absolutely.
So can you share a little bit about where you're from, where you grew up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Tawa, and I was born in Chicago. We lived in Chicago till we were 9, and then we moved to Lagos, Nigeria. So my parents, my ancestors, my parents, they're all Nigerian, born, raised, and they immigrated to the U.S. Before we were born.
Okay.
Probably about a year before we were born.
Why did they immigrate to the U.S.?
It's, the grass is always greener on the other side. The American,
American dream.
Yeah, the American dream. They keep chasing the American dream, but then they were just skirt, nah. America is a little.
Did they get here and they're like, now we got to go back?
Yeah, because I think they got here, obviously, they did love, they did get some opportunity, but then they were just man, everybody's just working, it's all bill. You gotta pay bills. My dad was just man, you gotta pay a lot of bills. The school system isn't that great. No offense, it's not that great.
Really?
In America.
Okay.
But the school system in Nigeria, at least for secondary school, which is 7th grade to 12th grade, and even primary school is really good.
Yeah.
And so I got a really good education in Nigeria. They particularly really wanted us to grow up there and go to school. was really the education system.
Yeah.
And I actually loved that I did that. Like, I grew up around my cousins, right? Because 90% of my family, they're all in Lagos, specifically in Nigeria. And so I got to grow up around my cousins. I got to, like, learn about my culture more firsthand.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, at home, we're still eating Nigerian food, things like that in the U.S.
Yeah.
But I got to, like, grow up there.
That's really cool.
I think I got my nerd side from growing up in Lagos, Nigeria. Like, the school system is really good. A lot of classes. There's a lot of classes that I took there that when I got to college, I was like, oh, I already did all of this.
It's kind of nice that you got to go back and even spend time with extended family.
Yeah,
too,
like,
and, like grow up
with my
that.
grandma, my grandma.
Valuable.
Yeah, like my grandma on my mom's side, she's passed now, but like we would go hang out with her all the time.
That's so
special. Be around cousins that I just would have never been around otherwise.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So would you say that experience is what shaped your love for travel, or is it something else?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, I don't think that shaped my love for travel, because for me it just still felt like home, because it was still a part of me, right?
True.
It's like my culture. The funny thing is, what actually introduced me to travel was I would just like, okay, still, I moved to Nigeria, but there was still that infatuation with America. And I think that happens in a lot of places. As I've traveled, I've seen like a lot of people like listen to American music, watch a lot of American television,
There's a
and
lot
movies.
Of Western influence.
A lot of Western influence.
Yeah.
And so that didn't skip us, right? I still was like loving Disney Channel and like watching shows and movies that people were studying abroad, like Cheetah Girls, like they would go to Spain, they go to India, you know, like, you know, Lizzie McGuire, right? I don't even, she went to Italy or UK or something like that. Yeah, so I would just watch all these shows and these movies, and I just see people traveling, these people that are like, oh my gosh, like I like pretty much like looked up to, right? Television.
Right. So it sounds like you were really influenced by like Western culture and movies and TV shows and media, and like that is what sparked your curiosity for the world. How did your parents feel about that?
It's a great question. So the first time I traveled, besides what I just told you, right, was going to UK. I studied abroad in Brighton, England. And this was the summer after sophomore year.
Of college.
Right. And my parents were just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this isn't...
Like, you going to the UK. They were
what are you doing? Like, so at this time I was 18. And they're just like, they're not used to anyone like traveling. That's not a thing. Like,
but they came to the States though.
Yeah. So exactly. So that's regarded as different, right? So what a lot of times with Nigerians, you just go in and just go see a friend, go to a wedding. Yeah. You come back home.
You're going there
so it's
for
not
like
regarded
a
as
purpose.
You're going there for a short-term purpose.
You're not going there long-term for anything like that.
It's usually to see family or to go to a wedding.
Yeah. And you came in and you were like, I want to go study abroad there for a couple months.
Yes.
And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, wait, why? Like, you should be going to face your studies. Like,
but you were, right? Because you were going to college.
Yeah, but again, the concept of studying abroad was like, what is that? Like, you know, like, it's not, they weren't exposed to it. So I was watching all these shows and these movies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. But like they were watching that. They were watching their Nigerian films. Like, you know, nobody was doing that. So I had to do like a whole speech. You had to
pitch to your parents.
I literally had to pitch to my parents, like, this is what I'm gonna gain, this is what I'm gonna learn.
Damn.
These credits will apply to my degree. So, you know, like
this is how I'm gonna finesse the education.
Yes, and then I convinced my twin sister to come. I was like, shucks, if you love me, you're gonna do this with me because I wanna do this, like, come on. And I think that was a good. My parents were like, okay, like they're both gonna go. I think if it was just me going by myself, that would be like a bit scarier.
Parents
and
always feel better
them.
when the other sibling goes with them.
So I was like, my sister came through and she had a good time too. So yeah, that was like my first exposure to travel. And it's funny because I ended up going to the UK, which is pretty common to like with Nigeria, like US or UK.
Yeah, it's still a big deal though for someone who had only left America once and Nigeria once. Yeah, I'm sure it was so. Were you so pumped to go?
I was so freaking excited. I was so excited, and you know, I was a broke college kid at the time. My parents gave me $500. Like $500. Like this is what I was there for 2 months. 2 months. I stretched that $500, bro. Back then, I wasn't into like food travel. I was just excited to be there, right? Yep. So I would go to like Subway and get like the 5-pound sandwiches. That would last me that was 2 meals. I cut that shit in half. That was 2 meals.
You rationed yourself.
I rationed. I would eat. I probably ate like, there were some days I ate once, maybe twice a day.
Wow.
Yeah, like I stretched it because I was so happy to be there. And you know how sometimes with programs they'll have like, oh, you can go to this theater show, you can go to Oxford, you can go to Cambridge. I did everything. I signed up for everything.
How do all of that with just $500 though?
Yeah, like
Like,
you make it
what
work.
did
You make it
do?
work. You finesse, man.
That is crazy.
You finesse.
That is okay. Wait, that explains so much about how you're so good at doing the travel stuff that you're doing, right? With Nomadish Travels,
Yeah.
Because you'll call all these companies and you'll finesse a
I'd be
discount.
like, hey, like, yeah, I'm like, all right, I can bring 2 people. I can roll with 2 people right now. Like, what are you gonna do for me? Like, yeah.
This is such crazy foreshadowing for what you've ended up doing today.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to hear that this trip to the UK is really what,
That's what started
sparked
it.
all of this. So, okay, so you're in the UK, you're stretching this $500 as much as you can for those 2 months. What happens after? Like, where are you going after that?
So I started small. Like, I had a friend who she lived in New Jersey, and you know, I was like, oh, she was going home for the holidays. My parents, mind you, they live in Nigeria, right? So the whole time I was in college, I never went back to Nigeria. So I had to fill in like these.
So you didn't
holidays.
see your family for 4 years?
I didn't see my family for 6 years.
6 years.
I did my grad school immediately after undergrad, so I got master's.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never went back home for 6 years.
Wow.
So I had to fill in things like Christmases and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So essentially, it kind of felt like I was an international student a bit.
Right, because you're traveling to friends,
yeah.
families for holidays.
Exactly.
And,
And
things like
so
that.
I started seeing like, wait, where are my friends living? So I had a friend who lived in New Jersey, and she like lived a train ride away from New York. So that was the first time I actually visited New York, was for a day, and I stayed at her family's place. And
What
so
did you think of New York the first time you came here?
the first time, I actually went to Times Square, and I was just like,
You're just like, is this really it?
yeah. I was like, okay, cool lights, but
What else?
Yeah, and Times Square is so busy.
Oh yeah, dude.
So and
Tell me about
I
it.
come from a busy city. Lagos is like one of the most populated cities in all of Africa.
Yeah.
I
So
think
you're like,
it's the
I did
second
not
popu-
leave
Yeah,
that to
and so I
come
was just like,
here.
and I only came for a day. And so I was like, all right, New York is all right. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then I remember I went on the subway, and I was like, man, it's dirty. Like, you know, like, I saw a rat, you know. I was like, and it's funny because New York is a place that I saw a lot on television,
movies,
right? And I was just
right.
like, oh, right, so this is New York. That's crazy, you know? Like,
You're like, people actually live here?
yeah. But then I came to New York several years later, and I actually spent a full week, and I was like, wait, I love New York. And my brother lived here at the time. And so he knew a lot of places. And so I was like, oh, this is great. And then I ended up coming back a year after, spending a whole month. And now I'm back again.
And now you're back
spending a whole
again.
month.
And now you get it now.
Yeah, so I get it now.
I love that. Okay, so you're in college.
Yes, so I'm in college,
You're
exactly.
You're basically an international student because
Yeah.
you can't go home for 6 years.
Yeah.
So where are you traveling to?
So I did
for these 6
Jersey,
years?
and I was like, oh, that's fun. And we went to like Princeton or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like I've kind of cracked it a little bit. Like, how can I travel more affordably, right? So that was one. Like, accommodations were covered.
Yeah.
And then I started plotting. Like, I started like saving up money. And my senior year, I did a trip to Mexico for spring break.
Yeah.
And loved it. Amazing. Like, so much fun. So
Where
I
in
pretty much
Mexico?
ended up spending like 2 years just saving up to go to Mexico. And then I knew I was going to grad school. I just wanted to like knock it out because I feel like I wasn't going to want to come back while I started my career. So I started plotting in grad school. There's a bunch of study abroad programs that they had too, because I'd only done a 2-month UK summertime, and so I ended up doing 3 programs in grad school.
You did
study
3
abroad
programs?
Yep.
Where did you go?
So I went to South Africa. That was the first time I went to South Africa.
Okay.
I did
Cape
a
Town?
program, Cape Town and Johannesburg.
Nice.
And then, so that was like a 2-week program.
These are crazy places to do a study abroad program.
I
by
did
the way.
Nigeria.
Oh, that's so fun. So you went home?
I went home. So I technically finished my like actual requirements a year and a half in, but I stayed for 2 years just so I could just study abroad. So I technically was like, I could graduate. I could put the application in, I could graduate.
Yeah, but like you're like,
But I
let
was
me
like,
stretch this as much as I can and take advantage.
And so I ended up doing 2 months in Nigeria, like an internship. I pretty much just figured out how can I do it and have somebody else pay for it, you know, like partially.
Like have the school pay for it.
Have the school
basically.
pay for it, or like how can I cut out accommodation costs? And then after that, once I graduated from school, I was working and I was making money. Oh, that changed things. Like, you know, when you actually have
when
money
you have
coming
real money, when you
in,
have adult money coming in, the game is different.
The game is different. I was out and about. Like when I started working, I moved to LA at the time, and I got 2 weeks of vacation. In the U.S., we get so little vacation. I
It's not
started out
enough.
2 weeks. The way I stretched that 2 weeks.
Where'd you go?
I went. Ooh, that's a good. I went to back to Mexico, but a different city. I went to Puerto Vallarta.
Okay.
I did a lot of little trips. I would go like to Sedona. I started
in
doing some
Arizona.
like national park trips because a lot of times people think of travel is just like international, but no, I was doing like
No,
U.S.
there's
travel. I was
there's
going
a
to
ton of places in the U.S. that
I was
are
going to
underrated,
Florida
in my opinion.
Keys.
Yeah.
I was going to like Scottsdale, Colorado, Denver, you know, and I would even go like conferences. Like conferences are another good way to travel to places.
True.
So like if my company like they'll be like, oh, we need someone to go do this conference. I'm like,
I'll go.
okay, I'll go. Yeah.
What is it about travel that like lights something up inside of you?
Ooh, good question. I think for me, I love who I am when I travel. Like I love that I try new things. I meet really, really cool people.
Yeah.
I make decisions. I'm like, because you have no choice. You got to make a decision. Like, am I going to go here for dinner? Am I going to
You don't
go
have time for decision paralysis when you're traveling.
You don't have time for that, right? Like, I love that, you know, I've just become more confident in making decisions, pivoting quickly. I love seeing beautiful things.
Yeah.
I love learning about complicated things like history. And
you're out here exposing yourself to so many different areas of life that you otherwise wouldn't have been.
Exactly.
But you're also putting yourself out there too, because you could travel. Some people do travel and they just stay at the hotel bar.
Yes.
The entire time.
There's different forms of travel.
There's different forms of travel, but you're a naturally curious person.
I never grew up hiking. I never. I was like, what's hiking? Like, I didn't learn about hiking until I moved to California. I was like, people, they go crazy about hiking out there. Like, the first hike I went, I was like, I don't know why people do this. Like, this is crazy. Like, why would I go hike up a mountain? Like,
yeah, that hike up the sand dune in Namibia
the one
was crazy.
The one that, like, actually, like, was, I was like, why do people do this? Camping.
Oh.
Like, why would I leave my house? I got a shower, I got a bed, and I'm gonna go sleep on the floor. But you know what? I did it. And I did it a couple times. And then I realized that I like glamping.
I like glamping. I can do glamping.
Anytime, any day.
So you're
Camping,
learning
not so much.
So when you travel, you're almost in an accelerator of finding out who you are at the end of the day. Is there a specific trip you took in your earlier years when you first started traveling that like totally changed your perspective on the world?
That's a good question. I think the places that come to mind, I would say Cuba. Is a big one, right? Because for Cuba, this is a place where, at least when I traveled to, I don't know how it is now. I went there a couple years ago. Right, there's not internet everywhere, so you pretty much live unplugged. You have to go to like a park and like buy one of those cards and get like an hour of internet. And so like that's a different way of living that I wasn't used to. But I actually really liked it. Like I thought that was really cool, where you could just live in the moment. Yeah. So that changed my perspective. And even like the cost of living there, like what people get paid is not a lot, and it's really expensive. Like I said earlier, where like they import a lot of things, so like food is expensive. Like going to the grocery store is pretty expensive, and that happens a lot even on islands, right? Like Hawaii, I think is also a good example. Right, food is really expensive.
Yeah, everything is imported,
and then what they're making is not on par with how much things cost. So that changed my perspective of like, oh wow, like that's how a lot of the world is living,
right?
And just like religion was another thing too. So I grew up in a Islamic household. So raised Muslim, and so just getting exposure traveling and learning about Buddhism, and learning about more about Christianity, learning about Judaism, like just the way religion shapes a lot of cultures in a lot of places. That changed me. So learning more about religion, learning more about money, learning more about politics, right, with different places, right? So, and every single place I've gone to, I feel like it's so different. I just learn more and more every single time I travel.
Yeah. What did your parents think about you traveling to all of these places when you were in college and even now?
My parents didn't understand it at first. Now it's actually hilarious. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to like, let's say I'm going to Sweden. They'd be like, oh, so you're in Switzerland, yeah? And I'm like, no, I'm in Sweden. They don't even know where I'm at most of the time. But I do love that they try. But initially they were like, they didn't understand. They're like, wow, like why are you traveling so much? Like just settle down. Like why are you traveling so much? Yeah. And then I think they started to see, especially when I started sharing things like on Instagram, they're like, okay, they see the joy that I have in it. And they're like, you know what, like, and they know that I'm a good girl. Like I went to college, like I graduated with, like,
you have a good job,
a really good job. You know, I make a good amount of money that lets me live this lifestyle. Right. And so I think they just started to like understand more and more. Yeah. And it does help that I have other siblings too. So I'm like, all right, y'all, because I'm like the traveler in the family. So I was like, okay, they got other siblings. They can spread the attention across everyone else. Yeah. But now they're really supportive now. They understand that now, like, it makes more sense while I'm young. Like I have accomplished all these other things. Like I should be able to do that now. But take some convincing. Yeah,
I mean, it takes time for parents. I think I think with parents especially who haven't been exposed to that, like they just want to make sure you're okay at the end of the day, like that you're safe and you're doing well, and they'll eventually come around. Yeah, I always think of the family that brings a dog home and the dad doesn't want it. Yeah. But then eventually he gets used to it. Yes. And like he's more obsessed with it than everyone else. Yes. Like that's kind of how parents are when it comes to things that they're not most comfortable with. Spot on. They just need to be desensitized, essentially.
Spot on. Because this year we did our first family trip ever. Because all these times I traveled, I've never traveled. We never
With
done
your
a family
family?
trip. Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to Dubai.
Fun.
Yeah, my mom always wanted to go to Dubai, and I had traveled a lot with my twin. I have a twin sister, so we traveled a lot. Even my younger sister, we traveled quite a bit. Not as much as me, but still, like, we've done a lot of trips, but never a full family trip.
Yeah.
And so this year we finally did one, and we went to Dubai for like 4 or 5 days, and they finally got to experience, like, oh, what is it like to travel with me, and like do these different experiences.
Did you build the whole itinerary?
I built the whole itinerary. I booked everything, and they loved it. They had a great time.
That's so cool.
It did take some time. I was like, okay, they can't do all the things that I could do. My parents, they don't travel the way that I do, or me and my sisters do, and or like younger people might do. But
they haven't been as exposed to
yeah,
it.
but they
need,
did.
like, a slower
They did
itinerary.
enjoy a lot of the things that we did. They were so proud of us, so proud of me. Yeah, so
That's really
so
special.
it was cool for them to experience that, and I think that also opened their eyes to like the things that I do, which is like that's part of my business, right?
Yeah.
Like planning trips.
It's
so
cool that
they're
you
like,
get to share that.
Like travel agent Tawa, like travel agent Tawa, like, and they always come to me to book all their flights, every single flight.
Get ready for that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. I've accepted my fate.
But that's really cool that you get to share that with your parents now. For parents who maybe were a little bit unsure, now it's something you can actually bring to them. It's such a big part of your life.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you've gotten closer with them since sharing that experience with them?
I do think so. Yeah, I really do. I think I did. I don't think they're the type of people that are like they're gonna travel a lot. That's not who they are.
Sure, that's okay.
But I think that's okay, right? And I think that's the thing. Like I always want people to try it. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Or maybe there's people who just want to travel once a year or once every 2 years. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you're putting yourself out there. You're doing it. You're finding the way that you like to travel your style.
Yes.
But you won't know unless you do it.
Never.
So.
How did COVID...
That's a good...
Yeah, how did COVID impact your ability to travel?
It did stop travel for me for a solid like 2 years. Obviously, like the beginning, everything was shut down, so I stayed put for like several months, and then things started to kind of ease up a little bit, where you can be outside, and then like places started to open up where you could travel domestically. But I got creative. I was like I had a car at the time. I don't have one now, but I would do like a lot of road trips.
Were you in Texas?
I was in California.
Okay, you're in California.
I was in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Los Angeles, and I had a car, and California's in a really good spot. Again,
yeah,
like,
you can go to a lot of places.
Yeah, I could drive up to Napa because wineries were still open. Like for a certain point of time, right, where they'll like deliver wine to you or something like that. You could be outside in a park. National parks were still open, right? But you just have to social distance. Yeah, so I did a lot of like national parks. I did a lot of discovering of the U.S., which I love, and I think that's important too, right?
The West Coast is beautiful.
The West Coast is beautiful. Up to Oregon, I'd go to like Bend, Oregon, go up to Big Sur.
When you go to all these places, are you typically alone, or are you with other people?
I'm with other people, or I'm alone. I do both. Okay. Yeah, I think earlier on I was always traveling with other people at the beginning, but then I started to kind of ease into solo travel, and I was like, oh, I actually love this. I love both. I think both have their different purposes.
What was your first solo trip?
My first solo trip was Berlin.
Oh, fun.
I actually went to work. It was a work trip. A work trip to Austria and Germany. And then I stayed longer. Because that's the other thing, right? Like, whenever you get an opportunity, I would get opportunities to travel for work for whatever reason.
Stretch it for a few
days. And I would stretch it. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And so the first one I did was Berlin. Yeah.
The first time I solo traveled was life-changing. Because I was like, oh, I can make decisions by myself and do whatever I want. You're telling me that, like,
exactly,
I can do whatever I want
literally
today?
whatever you want. You can wake up and be like, I just want to stay in bed.
Right.
Or I want to go on this hike.
Right.
Or I want to go to the beach.
Eat at this place.
Yeah, I want to go at this restaurant, eat this type of meal. You don't have to cater to anyone else.
Right.
You just do exactly what you want to do.
I think everyone should experience solo travel at least once in their life, because I think it'll totally change their perception of what they're capable of.
Yes.
And like your relationship with alone time, which I think is also really important to have as an adult.
I feel like I have so much fun by myself.
I have so much fun when I travel alone. Yeah, it's great. So the next question I have, which I feel like a lot of people tuning in are probably asking themselves right now, is how are you working while you're doing all of this?
Good question. Okay, so right now I have a remote job.
Okay.
But this remote job, I've had this remote job for almost 5 months now. Okay. So before then, I didn't have a remote job.
So what were you doing before this?
So before then, I was on a sabbatical.
Okay.
So I quit my civil engineering and corporate job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I traveled for a year and a half. When I was working, I worked 6 years at a general contractor construction civil engineering company. And when I started, I had 2 weeks of vacation. I was like, I hated the fact that I could only go somewhere for 3 days and I have to come back.
Were you in office for that job?
I was in office full time,
in
even
LA,
during COVID.
LA,
right?
Yep.
Okay. Even during COVID, I wasn't at home. I was
Oh, they made you
Yeah,
go to
because
the
construction
office.
was regarded as an essential.
You have to be on site.
So I was on site. Yeah,
Okay.
every single day.
So
Right.
for the 6
The whole
years you
time.
worked at this company, you were only traveling during the work trips and
Yep.
during the 2 weeks of vacation. They
Exactly.
gave you.
And even the work trips were rare. Like I just was on a project that happened to have work trips.
Yeah. So what was the moment
down
you
upon it.
realized that you wanted to leave work and
Yes.
take a year and
So
a half
I wasn't
off?
happy. I was not happy. Like at the end, I was really sad. I would wake up like dreading going to work. And I think
sign.
the problem was I knew what it was like to love going to work, and I knew what it was like to feel actually excited to go to work.
Is that how you felt when you first started
When
the
I
job?
when I not initially the first start, but like towards the middle. I think at the
Okay.
beginning I was like, okay, like it was an adjustment, like working full time versus like college. I was like,
True.
okay, like that's different. But then I started to like really love what I was doing. The project picked up, and I was so excited. And then I got to a point where I hated what I was doing.
Yeah.
I hated going to work. I was really sad. I wasn't happy. I didn't love the manager I had at the time. I didn't feel supported. I didn't feel
That's
like
always hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like and I was in an industry where there's not a lot of people that look like me in that industry. So I think I was beginning to be overlooked
it a-
for opportunities.
Was it a male-dominated
It's
industry?
yes, it's a male-dominated industry, and specifically, it's a white male-dominated industry. To be very specific, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of women in the industry, and there's not a lot of women of color. There's not a lot of black women in that in that industry.
Yeah.
And so I started to feel like I
can
was
feel
being
very isolating after a
overlooked.
while.
I kind of just got sick of that feeling, and so I said, you know what? Like I've always wanted to take this year off.
Yeah.
Right. I actually figured I would only do 6 months,
Wow.
but I ended up doing a year and a half.
So how long? So once you realized that you were unhappy, how long
Yeah.
did it take for you to quit your job?
It took me a couple months,
Okay.
to be honest, because I kept like second guessing it a little bit because I was like, man, I spent 6 years building
Yeah.
this career. Like I'm really, really good at what I do. Like I know confidently I'm really good at what I do. People tell me that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and like if I leave, like what is that gonna do for my career?
Right. I'm sure like all the
Yeah.
anxiety come in. It's like, is this going to set me back in my
Yeah,
career? Am I going to
yeah.
be able to find a job? after
Exactly.
this?
Things like that. I ended up crying actually when I went to quit, when I actually said the words to my manager at the time. I didn't like this manager, but I did
an
cry because
emotional-
it was
it's
an
an
emotional
emotional
thing. This
process.
is something that I put 6 years into this company. I was at the same company as well, by the way, for 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years into this company, I did meet amazing people, but I met some problematic people. And so I had to remind myself. So I was starting to write things down because you got to remind
You have
yourself,
to keep,
like,
writing things down. Like,
I was starting to write things down, like the bad.
yes,
And reasons
you got to
why
keep
I
the
should
receipts.
leave. Because I think
Right.
sometimes you forget about the bad once a good thing happens. And it's like, no, I need to remember the receipts. Like, I
Yeah.
need to remember why I should actually just do it. And so
Yeah.
I just reached a breaking point one week and I was like, you know what? F it.
I got to do it.
Let's go.
I got to pull it.
I gotta pull it. I ended up quitting in October.
Okay.
But I got to the point where I knew I was going to leave to travel in January. Because at that point I had already started. I started saving. I knew I was gonna take a 6-month sabbatical.
So you started saving when you realized you were unhappy, or you started saving before that?
I started saving before that.
Okay.
Because I knew I always was gonna leave.
Yeah.
The plan was 6 months. I always knew I wanted to do a year. And
ended up doing a year and a
I
half,
ended up doing
right?
a year and a half.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got a
That's
taste of it and I
wild.
loved it so much. And then I started to make like budget decisions that would let me stretch it.
You must be a master budget
I'm a
person.
master budget person for sure. I literally kept
I could
track
take
of
some tips
everything.
from you.
No, that's coming with my company. Like be able to help people who are thinking about taking sabbaticals
Can
and stuff like
budget,
that.
right?
Yeah, budget templates, things like
Yeah.
that. And so yeah, I used that and I was able to stretch
Wow.
it. I did like 3 regions. So I did Latin America, did that for a couple months, loved it, and then I was like, okay,
This is
let's
after
see if I
you
can
quit.
do Europe. This is after I quit,
Yeah.
and then I did Europe, and then I was like, all right, Europe is definitely not Latin America prices, but
It's
let's
different.
see.
We
let's
just went to
see.
Switzerland, and
Dude,
I
like,
need to budget for
Yeah.
the rest of the year. Honestly,
I ended up doing Europe just 2 months because I was like, that's all the money they're gonna take from me. But yeah, and then I was like, you know what? I can sell my car. That's gonna give me another extra 15K.
oh, you're looking for all these
Bro,
extra buttons that you can be pushing
I
to
was
get
like,
some
let
extra
me,
cash.
yeah, and the thing is, like, the thing about me is I do think about budget, but I don't want to restrict myself. I still want to have a good experience,
Right.
And so I'm like bougie on a budget. I'm like the definition of bougie on a budget. So I saved up enough money to be able to travel comfortably, and I picked the right regions and the timing for each region so that I could have that. So I did like several months in Latin America. I
Yeah.
did just 2 in Europe, right?
Right.
I tapped more into my savings because I always had a important thing to do when you're taking a sabbatical is still have a savings that you come back to.
Yes.
Right. Because you don't
'Cause
want
you
to
don't wanna
start
start
from
from
zero.
zero,
Exactly.
right.
And so I made the decision of actually I want to tap into that. I want to pull 10K from that. And I'll be happy for my savings.
Okay.
That because I had my sabbatical savings, like
Yeah.
money, and then I had my regular savings I want to come back to.
Right.
And so I sold my car. I was like, I can sell my car. That's another 15K, bro. That's 25K right there.
Right.
And so that's what made I allowed myself to stretch it and do a year and a half
Wow.
sabbatical.
In the year and a half that you were on your sabbatical,
Yes.
do you feel like a different person than when you
Yes.
started?
Yes.
How would you describe that difference?
During that time, that year and a half that I had by myself, I just was very intentional in writing things down of what I wanted and what I liked. I came across a lot of digital nomads. And so I was like, this is what I want to do. I literally want to be able to have the flexibility to live somewhere, make money. I learned truly what I wanted in career, right? Because you have that time by yourself, right?
Yeah, you have so much time to reflect.
Yeah.
You're so like alone to your thoughts and
And that kind of led me to what I'm doing now, right?
which is
I started a travel company.
okay. We're gonna get into that
Travels,
next.
yeah, and then also still having a 9 to 5. So I have my 9 to 5 and I have my 5 to 9.
How do you balance having this
Both.
travel planning company and a 9 to 5?
Yeah, so I don't work on my business every day. Like I do work.
Okay.
Right. So work, you work Monday through Friday, right?
Right.
I don't think it's sustainable to do Monday through Friday of my other job because then I'm just working.
Then you're
right?
you don't have any time for yourself at that point.
So I pick certain days that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on this business. Sometimes things come up. We're like, oh, let's go get drinks, Annie. Like, let's go do this birthday party, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I have that flexibility to move things around.
Yeah.
Picking a business that doesn't require my time all the time as well is really important.
Right.
And that's something that I kind of learned along the way. Right. Like a part of my business is travel planning, but I do a couple other things. And I think the travel planning does take a lot more time. And so let me focus on some things that I invest some time in right now that I can just sit back and let that kind of just sit on the website and generate income.
Yeah, passive income.
Passive income.
That's always nice.
So you want a balance of passive income and services are important. So I still want to provide the service of travel planning.
Right.
But picking certain days that I could do that. Setting a quota for myself, like, okay, I can only do 5 clients this month.
Right.
That's important too.
Right. Like giving yourself boundaries, giving yourself small
setting
boundaries too.
Yes.
So you're not just opening up the floodgates to anything and everything coming through the door.
Exactly.
Otherwise, that's how you're probably going to get overwhelmed and you're not going to provide good quality work. And then you just end up burning out really,
and
really
it's trial
fast.
and error too, right? Like you start out and you're like, okay, this is sucking up too much of my time. Let me pivot and do this. And that's the beautiful thing about having your own business, right? It's your vision. It's like what you want. And you can kind of pivot when you want versus like doing whatever your manager says you gotta do.
So when during your sabbatical did you realize this was what you wanted to build? You wanted to build Nomadish Travels. Like how did that come about?
It came about because I had planned a couple of group trips. And specifically a friend of mine, I planned her bachelorette trip to Colombia. And everybody was just like,
how many people?
Bruh, it was 8 of us.
Okay, a big group.
Yeah. And everybody was just like, bro, this is fire. Like, this is, you literally
Did you
should
know
be doing
everyone
this.
in the group?
I did not.
Oh, so you didn't even know everyone's personal
didn't.
tastes or anything like that?
Nope. And I think I do strongly feel like I've perfected kind of like the formula when it comes to group trips, like whether you know people or you don't know people. And I pretty much like, I use that formula, my usual formula. We're just like chilling by the pool and they're just like, this was great. Like, this is literally what you should be doing. Because I had like vented to them about like, my struggles in my career, right? And like what caused me to quit.
So at this point, it hadn't clocked to you that you
It didn't. I had been doing all of this work, all this planning for free. I was planning all these trips.
You were doing this for free.
I was doing all this for free. Like
the free labor.
And I just loved it. I was passionate about it. And I never really thought about like, oh, I could just like actually make this a business. And so, yeah, they were just talking about it. I was like, wait, y'all right. Like, y'all right. That's true.
So how old is Nomadish Travels now?
So Nomadish Travels right now is almost a year old.
Almost a year old. Okay, we're coming up on a year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It'll be next month. It'll be a year.
Did you have any fears when you first started building this business?
Yes. I think my biggest fear was, okay, so I'm used to doing all this for friends and family. Okay, what if I do this for random people? At the time, I was like, man, like, are people gonna actually like this? Like, are they just gassing me up? Right?
No,
like,
people
are my
need
friends
that.
just gassing me up?
People hate making decisions.
Yeah.
People love to not use their brain while they're on vacation because someone has used it for them.
And I
Someone
love
has made
it.
all the decisions
And I
for
love
them.
doing that.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was just kind of nervous. Like, man, that's scary. Like, I don't know. And so I finally was like, you know what? I just gotta do it. I just gotta try. And so
Did you kind of have to hype yourself up?
I
what
did.
did that
I had
look
to
like
hype
for
myself
you?
up. My twin sister helped hype me up a lot. I'm always like used to hearing like, man, this was great. Like, this was so nice. Like, this trip, like, thank you. Or like friends will always hit me up for recs. Like, I'll send them this whole list of things. Like, I have like notes app, like notes in different destinations, and I'll be like, oh yeah, bet. Like,
what sold me on going to Namibia was Ash had showed me the notes app that you crafted, and I was like, oh, this is like serious. This is a robust itinerary with where we're staying, what we're doing each day, the travel time
color
to each
coordinated,
location.
right?
Color coordinated.
Organization is important, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to just like look at a dump of a bunch of paragraphs, right? You want to see things like streamlined information. So yeah,
it was
like
super impressive.
Thank
so
you.
I can see that this is something that you pour so much of your passion, so much of your heart and soul into, because you really do love delivering experiences for others.
Exactly. And so that's pretty much how that was born.
There are like other travel planning companies out there. Like I don't know if you've heard of Flora.
Yeah.
Or I think there's a couple other ones that come to mind.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot. So how do you plan on differentiating Nomadish Travels from like the competition?
Good, really, really good question. So for me, the gap that I'm looking to fill in the travel space is, as I'm traveling, I noticed that there's not a lot of women of color traveling, and there's not a lot of Black women, and just like Black people in general. And so I want to kind of show people like we out here. There's not that many of us, but we out here, and I want to like actually help make people make the right travel decisions and get to those destinations, right? So that's number one. Number two is sabbatical changed my life, right? And I think I want to see if I could help as much as I can people, you know, be able to do sabbaticals. It doesn't have to be a year and a half. I know that was a long time, but it could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months. Help people get to that point. And then lastly is I travel, I'm bougie on a budget, right? Like
I think people, that's a resource people need.
I think it's important because I think a lot of times online you see a lot of budget travelers and you see a lot of luxe travelers, but there's not a lot of people right like in the that middle, nice, beautiful sweet spot, where your money is going far, right? Your money's going far. You're doing some like low cost things, but you're doing some nice things because you deserve that, right?
You deserve nice things.
You're taking time off from work, right? Like you deserve to have a good time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I kind of fill that spot really, really, really nicely. Getting good deals. I still get really good deals, good with negotiating.
Yeah. I feel like
prices.
People think that you need to have all the money in the world to travel to places.
Do you know how many times I've heard people say like, "Oh man, that must be nice. Oh, you must be
money,
right? You must come from money." And I'm like,
you're like, no, I just budget really, really
and I
well.
think that's the misconception a lot with like digital nomads a lot too.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like if you're like bouncing around these different countries.
If you met some of these digital nomads, you would know that they are scraping by.
Dude, like a good example is like right now in New York, right? I'm in New York for a month. I'm wrapping up a month. The first 2 weeks I spent dog sitting. So I was in New York for free. I was staying at my friend's place for free. The other 2.5 weeks to complete the month, I spent $1,000 on
in New York. You spent $1,000.
So all in all, right? Because math, travel math.
Yeah.
For a month, I pretty much spent $1,000
on accommodations.
On accommodations in New York, and this is for places that it was just a 1 bedroom with a 1 bathroom.
That's wild.
And New York is usually $3,000 plus, right? If
Eric was trying to come back for a week, and they were asking $2,000 from him for a week.
For a week, right? So I stayed in New York for a month for $1,000. And
you just have to be
people
smart.
Would think that, oh wow, she's in New York for a month. And she got her own spot, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Like, she must have money. Like, that's crazy.
But that's not the reality of it. That's not what's going on.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like also going to all these different places and putting yourself out there, right? We talked about that in the beginning. You are someone who is naturally curious. You put yourself out there. You go to different hostels to see what's going on and what people are doing. You meet so many people. And the beautiful thing about traveling and meeting so many people is that now you have all these places to stay.
I know people hate small talk, but small talk
leads to
things.
Small talk leads to big.
Last year,
big
when I was in New York for a month, 2.5 of those weeks, I stayed at someone's house for free. And this is someone I met her in Peru.
Yeah. People just need to not
make
be
those
scared
connections.
To, meeting new people.
Yeah, like you'll be surprised.
You'll be surprised with how friendly other people are.
Sometimes people just want someone to talk to. Sometimes people are just like curious. Like the same way I'm curious about places that I travel to. People are curious when they talk to me about like I grew up in Nigeria, right? Like I have this like story to tell. And so people are curious, or even like they're like, damn, like a Black person came to this place, like that's crazy, like and I'm like, yeah, like I'm out here, like this is cool, and they're just interested, they're curious, like it's just like exchange of curiosities, right? And it creates these moments, these memories, and you end up meeting you and going to like meeting you in South Africa, Namibia.
That was by chance,
and like that was by chance, right? And building that connection, and like you're someone that I think you're just so freaking dope, and you're doing this such an amazing thing that I just feel like I meet so many cool people, and that's something that I love about travel. Back to like something that I love about travel. And so
I also love what you mentioned earlier too about wanting to see more women of color out
Yes,
here in the space.
exactly.
And that I don't even know how we got to what we're talking about.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
I know. Same. I was like, wait, I don't remember, but yes. And so that's something that I do want to feel like I want to see more women, right?
Yeah.
Like a good example, like going to South Africa. Loved the people that I met, right? I was around a lot of digital nomads, right?
Yeah.
But I think I saw one other black
I
digital nomad.
remember how surprised we all were when we went to Namibia and we
Yes.
didn't see a lot of black people traveling.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
predominantly
White.
Caucasian.
White, yeah.
Well, there's
And there's nothing wrong with that. Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. But
Yes,
I think we were all just
absolutely.
taken aback because it's like we're in Africa. I think we would have just also expect to see more people of color
Exactly.
traveling to these places.
When you see people who look like you doing something, you're like, okay, I could do it, right? Like for a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that
Women of color,
women of
people
color can see people like me doing that,
Yeah.
and they see that it's possible.
There are little girls out there who look like me and look like you.
Yeah.
Who want to see the world, and we need to
Yeah.
be out here showing.
Or
them
they
that
don't
can
even
do
they
it.
don't even think that they can, or they it never even cross their minds to think that they should
right
or
because
could.
they haven't seen anyone.
They haven't
who
seen
looks
anyone
like
do that.
them.
Yeah.
So what's been your biggest learning so far building Nomadish Travels?
My biggest learning, there's a lot I want to do, but I need to kind of just start with one thing,
Which is what you're offering
which is
right now.
traveling planning, right? So I can craft and curate a itinerary for you, and
do you
there's
do
different
it for-
stages.
Do you do it for solo or for group?
I
or
do it for all. So I do it
everyone?
for solo. I do it for it could be 2 people. I do groups and different rates for different things. I actually do a really good rate for solo travelers because I am still like I have a soft spot for solo travel. And then eventually, like in the next couple of years, I do want to branch out and do all these other things. But I think what I've learned is like I can't do it all. Like
Yeah.
it's just too much. Just focus on one thing.
Like if you had to choose
Yes.
2 or 3 things that
Yeah.
you aspire for Nomadish Travels to be, like,
Yes.
what would that be?
Yeah, so I want to continue travel planning because I do love it, and then I want to actually host group trips. So I want to craft group trips and go on these trips, and people can travel with me because I think I'm fun. You know, I think I'm a good time.
Oh, you are fun.
You know,
You're fun. You're a
and
good time.
I think a lot of times people tend to feel more comfortable when like there's someone else there to like be on
Guide
the ground,
them.
guide.
Yeah.
I think it would be a fun experience. I do want to create a couple of guides, like sabbatical guides, have some templates on my site with
I
like,
think the sabbatical
budget.
thing could
Yes.
be really cool because I think a lot of
Exactly.
people again want to take the time
Yeah.
to travel, but maybe they just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just scared. too,
Exactly.
'cause they're just like, this feels really daunting to plan like a month or 2 month long thing where I have to
Exactly.
make all the decisions myself. So I think that
so
could be really
yeah, so those are the 3 main things that I want to do in the next couple of years, and I feel like I'm in a good spot with the travel planning.
Yeah.
and I just want to keep that going and then do those other things.
I also think the budgeting thing too that
Yes.
you spoke about as well could be a really cool
Exactly,
place
I'm
to tap
actually
into.
currently working on a budgeting
Okay.
guide and template.
All right,
yeah,
well, stay
so
tuned
people-
on that.
Exactly. So
Amazing.
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna end with a couple rapid fire questions. So
Okay,
it's gonna be
cool.
like a this or that. You
Okay.
got like 5 seconds to answer. Okay.
Okay.
ready?
Sweet.
All right. When you're on a plane, window seat or aisle seat?
Window, hands down.
Mountains or beaches?
Beaches for sure.
Sunrise hike or sunset hike? I know you don't like that.
Sunrise.
Sunrise. Okay. What's always in your carry-on?
Ooh, I always have a portable charger.
Smart.
Portable
Actually,
charger.
I always forget a portable charger. Mike is always bringing me a portable charger
That's important
because my phone is always dying.
We can't have our phones dying.
No, we need to
Because
know
we're
where
out and about
going.
all day. We need to know where we're
in
going.
a foreign country.
Yes. Yes.
Have you
If
ever
I go
been in a
offline,
situation-
my location goes offline, people are gonna be calling. They're gonna
At least
send.
people
They're
are
gonna send.
gonna be
There's gonna be
worried.
people worried. They're gonna be like,
Favorite travel snack?
ooh, popcorn. Specifically, the lesser evil.
Ooh, those
Popcorn,
are
so
good.
good.
With the coconut oil, right?
Yes.
Yes, those are so
Yes, so good.
One country you could live in forever.
Ooh, South Africa, Cape Town. I love Cape Town.
Cape Town was awesome.
It's far, but
It's fun.
I love it.
Craziest travel mishap you laugh about now?
Okay, I stayed on an island called Elefante, visiting Egypt off the coast of Aswan.
Okay.
And
Was it during your sabbatical?
this was not during my sabbatical. This was actually while I was working at my old corporate 9-to-5 construction job, and they escorted us to the place, right? Checking it as an Airbnb. And, you know, I wasn't paying attention. I was just like, la-da-da-da, you know, like, okay, cool. Like, someone was walking me to my door. All right, bet.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, obviously, they're going to leave. The escort's going to leave, right?
Right.
And then you're on your own. I didn't pay attention to where we walked. There's no street signs.
Oh no!
So-
there's no Google Maps.
There's Google Maps, but it's not reliable, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like left to go into town, right?
Yeah.
And like explore and stuff. I honestly didn't even know where the port was. I was walking around, and then I asked this guy, I was like, "Where's the port?" And he was like, "Oh, this is where it's at." He was walking around, and then he was like taking. I was with another friend. It was me and another girl.
Okay, so you weren't alone.
I wasn't alone. We both didn't pay attention. And so
It really be like that with your friends sometimes.
Yeah, and then he was walking around. He was like, "Oh, do you guys want to come inside?" And I was like, "Wow,
no, what?
Hell, like, why? Why do I need to go inside? Like, just tell me where's it at."
Also, inside what
his house, his house. And then we were just like, "Nah, like we don't need to go inside your house." And so we just ended up running. We just ran, and then we're just like,
ran away from
we
them?
ran, yeah, because it's like we don't know what this man's trying to do. Like we ran.
Wait, did you have your luggage with you? Like,
No. We had already checked in. This is like we were going out to go explore.
Oh, and so you were trying to go home.
And we were trying to go to the port to get to go explore, because it's like one of the places like it's like an island off the coast that you have to go to, like a little port that has boats, like a little port with boats.
Yeah.
And so we were just trying to find the port. That was number one.
And then this man invited you into his home.
Yeah, we were just like, nah, so we ran. And then we were just like, you know what? How hard is it going to be to find a port? Like, literally just walk towards the water, right?
Right.
And then just walk around this little island, right? You're going to find it eventually. So we found it eventually. We got on the boat. And then we came to the town we were exploring. We're just like, how are we going to get back home, though? Like, because we don't know how to get home. So we messaged our the Airbnb host, like the escort, and they saved the day. We actually didn't message them. We actually just saw them out and about. We're just like,
oh my god,
hey, you're gonna laugh,
the
but
universe
we literally
knew
don't
that y'all
know how to
needed
get
him.
back to where we're living.
You back
he
home?
did. He actually hung out with us, and he took us like shopping in the market.
Okay, he wasn't a weird man.
He was like,
trying to,
no, he was actually a good, like a kind soul,
Yeah.
fun. And his friend came, and we were just like having a good time, and then they escorted us back home, and then we paid attention to where we had to go at this time.
You learned your lesson.
Like, all right, we need to pay attention.
I'm dead.
Yeah, and this was like before like Google Maps. They didn't have Google Maps offline back then. Like now you can have that. Like now that's another thing I do before every trip. I download the Google Maps offline, and I
you can't be lost in a foreign country.
And I know, and I take a screenshot of the pin of where I'm staying too, right? And
That's
things
so
like that.
smart.
And so, but back then I didn't know that. So that's something that was just really funny, where it's like, just this island
And it was
that
a
had no
lesson learned.
streets, little alleys, lessons learned.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, wow, we really just straight up didn't know how to get back.
And then almost got kidnapped. Low key by
almost
this
got
strange
kidnapped, and
man.
who knows what else, but
Hey,
yeah.
now you're here to tell the tale.
Yeah,
That's all that
exactly.
matters.
So that's something I laugh about now.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we should wrap.
Yeah.
It's been so fun having you on.
Thanks
I love
for
getting to
having
know
me.
you more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this was great to hear more about Nomadish Travels, hear more about your background. This has been probably the most laughter we've had on the show so
yay.
far. So
I'm happy.
It was a good time.
About that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, thanks you. I'm so proud of you. This is such an incredible thing you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited to see where this goes. And we're excited to have more people on like yourself doing really cool things out there. And I'm really stoked to see like where you are off to next, because I never know where you're off to next. So I always love catching up with you.
I'm going to India next.
You're going to India next.
Yeah. For
See,
wedding.
I never know
exploring.
what this
So yeah, but yeah, I think final words is just do it. Like do the thing that you've been thinking about in the back of your mind. Because okay, if you fail, whatever, but you tried, right?
You tried.
And if most people are succeeding,
right?
Most people are succeeding. You're gonna succeed too.
And if you don't, you'll learn something out of it, and then you could try something new.
Yeah.
Because life is too short to not do anything.
Life is too freaking short, man. And you don't have to quit your job.
No, you don't.
I have
Clearly
a
not.
job,
Yeah.
and I'm doing this on the side, right? And I think that's the misconception. People think that you have to like put everything in this one basket, but no, you can still have your job, have that security, financial security, and do this on the side, right? This economy, we need other streams of income.
Yes, we
right
do. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm building this podcast.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm like, let me see what I can do with this.
Yeah, you never
one
know.
day.
And if anything, it's something that you're doing for fun, right?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's something we're doing for fun. It's something that I'm excited and passionate about that has nothing to do with work. My job doesn't actually matter in terms of, my job does matter. What I'm trying to say is work doesn't come up in this space where I create this, which is really fun.
We all have different interests. We have several interests. I'm not interested in just one thing. I'm interested in a lot of things. And so I don't think we're meant to just pursue one thing. I think we're meant to pursue a lot of different things. Yeah. And something that I have learned is that I don't need to love my job. I really don't.
No, you don't. You can just see it as a vehicle for
I need to
money.
be happy. Happiness and love is not the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? I need to be happy, but I don't need to love it.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on.
For sure. Thanks for having me.